Hello and welcome to Bob Box. No, really, I have not made that one up. Krayzee Tokyo was a grey wedgebot armed with a curved bumper that could ram other robots out of the way, though it'd have a little curve at the bottom. It also had a skull and crossbones painted on, and a small teddy bear on board, well protected. It was also one of a number of school robots that entered Series 1 of Robot Wars. It being a featherweight, weighing only about 3 kilos, it landed in Heat D, and of course, faced the gauntlet. Krayzee Tokyo got off to a quick start, which is good, and chose the left route through it with the maze, but had a hard time going round the corners in the maze. Further proof that robot driving is not as easy as it looks. They just about got past the drills after they got through the maze before crashing into the giant bed springs. No, really? Those springs were actually a hazard in Series 1 of Robot Wars in Gauntlet. They got stuck. So up came along Matilda, and Matilda also got stuck on the springs. Oops. Still, they did enough to get through, and got through to the trials, which was stock car. Krayzee Tokyo got off to a not so good start by accidentally false starting due to another controller being on the same frequency as theirs. They managed to avoid the pilot that followed and were actually doing pretty well. Going along the first lap, they were up to third, and then they crashed into Saturn. Not a very high speed crash, but ultimately it was Krayzee Tokyo that ended up coming off worse. It basically died. Saturn, a rammer, and one of the first, in fact the first robot I talked about on this video series, managed to keep on going. Meanwhile, the Demolisher had landed upside down. The Demolisher being another rammer, and was unable to self-right like all of the robots in Series 1. However, a wedgebot named Cunning the Plan rescued the Demolisher and promptly finished the race. Krayzee Tokyo, having covered by far the least distance and dying when it did, ended up going out and it didn't return. Krayzee Tokyo probably would not have won the heat anyway. It lacked the control necessary, but it's also not particularly easy to judge given that it never won a fight. The wedge's curve at the end may have made things difficult for them getting underneath other robots. And yeah, also Krayzee Tokyo is not the prettiest of robots. It was described as looking as though it may have been found in a bin. But this is not a beauty contest, this is Robot Wars. And for those who worry about soft toys on fighting robots, the teddy was very well protected and I think it survived fine. So, there you go. But it likely wouldn't have won its heat had it got through. Anyway, who's next? Well, it is time to find out. Well, this is going to be an interesting one. Reactor. Until next week, Alison244, out.